For today's video, I'm going to be using the summer collection from the Crafty Banana, and I specifically wanted to use this one for this video because the shop owner, Brianna, is a really good friend of mine. She's been there with me through ups and downs, and she's just a really awesome person. So I wanted to film this video and share some bad date stories while I do it because she is navigating that world at the moment, and I know how discouraging it can be sometimes, and I just wanted to have a laugh about some of the frogs I had to kiss to get to my friends, and I thought that it would just be fun. And so I made a list here of some of the worst ones that came to my mind. And just for reference, I was 30 when I got married, so I had a lot of years, all in my 20s, to go on these terrible dates. So I have to start with the first one. This guy came to my mind first. Like when I think about awkward, bad dates that I never wanted to relive, like this is the one that comes to mind first. So at this time in my life, I was working in a library. Oh, by the way, in the video, I'm showing you the candies that Brianna sent me for my birthday. They're so cute. They're from Sugarfina. But anyway, I was working at a library, and I was really attracted to this guy that would come in all the time. He was really cute, and he seemed so smart. And I liked the books that he checked out. Like, he would always read classics and stuff. So I felt like when he asked me to go out to dinner, I was super excited because I thought, we're going to get along great. We'll have a lot to talk about. And he told me, and the name on his library card, like he had one name. It was Steve or something. I don't even remember, to be honest. So we decided to go to dinner, and he wanted to pick me up, but my rule was always, no, I'm going to drive myself there for safety. So I met him there, and he seemed to be like in a bad mood that I wouldn't let him drive me. So that was a flag right there. So we go up to the hostess station, and he gives her a different name than the name that I knew. And as we're walking to the table, I was like, which one is your real name? And he goes, oh, I just like to change it sometimes. So by now I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be a creepy guy. I didn't detect this in time. So then we get to the table, and he tells the waiter a different name. So now we're up to 3 names, and he orders a drink, a strong drink, and a shot, which is like a weird thing to do at the beginning of a date, a first date. And I didn't drink at all at this point in my life. It just wasn't something I was into at all. And he got mad. He seemed mad that I didn't want to drink. And he's like, what's the problem? Are you afraid you'll let your guard down? And I was like, yeah, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable, and I'd rather not have a drink right now. So anyway, this guy proceeds to get super wasted throughout dinner, and starts talking about his ex-girlfriend and how she cheated on him, and how all they did together was watch Sex and the City, the TV show. And by this point, I'm just like looking at him like an exhibit in a zoo. And I'm like, well, what did you learn from watching Sex and the City? And this is him all drunk. I learned that women are whores. It's like, all right, I think that I'm done with dinner and I'm going to go. And so we pay the bill. He follows me out to the car, and I really didn't want him to see what car I was driving because I'm like, this guy's weird. I don't want him to know anything about me. And he insisted that he had a gift for me, and he went and got it. And it was a Stephen King novel, which is creepy. And when I flipped through the book, there was a note in it to some other girl. So it was like, he's tried this before. Oh my gosh, that was a bad date. Remember just feeling like really discouraged after that one. Like, okay, how can I move on? So the next one on my list is another crazy guy. This guy was a barista at Starbucks, and his dream was to be a lawyer, and it was the Starbucks that I went to all the time. So we always chatted, and he was so cute, and he was intriguing. So he asked me to meet him for coffee one day at that Starbucks, and I thought, that's perfectly safe. You know, I come here all the time. So we started off having a really great chat. We're drinking coffee, and one of the things that came up was religion, and he asked me what I was, and I said, well, I grew up Catholic, and then I left the Catholic Church. And he's like, really? And he got really interested in that, like super interested in that in a weird way. And then he said that he was Catholic too, and then he left it. And he's like, "What'd you leave it for?" I was like, "Well, I just go to a non-denominational church now." And he's like, and then I asked him the same question, and he goes, "Do you really want to know the story?" And by now I'm like, "Oh God, okay, yeah, sure, tell me the story." Guys, 2 hours later, I was released from the grip of this guy's monologue of his story. It was crazy. He was talking about how he heard the voice of God, and it was like the sound of 1,000 waters, and he took like 45 minutes to explain water molecules to me so that I could understand God's voice. And it was just so weird. And by the very end, I was like, "So were you on drugs for this experience?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I was on drugs the whole time. I thought I told you that." Oh man, you could have saved me 2 hours. Anyway, at the end of that, he asked if I wanted to go get dinner, and I said, "No, I'm really uncomfortable and I want to go home." Had to find a new Starbucks after that one. Another library pickup. We used to have a lot of foreign exchange students and stuff come in the library where I worked because they wanted to do whatever they could to learn a language. And there was this guy from Greece named Milos that used to come in, and he was adorable, and he asked me to have coffee with him. So I did, and when he walked in, he was wearing a shirt with a big smiley face on it that said, "Smile if you swallow." And he sat down, and I said, "I'm sorry, I can't sit at a table in public with you while you're wearing that shirt. Do you know what it means?" Because I had to think, like, maybe he doesn't understand it. And he's like, "Yes." So I just got up and left. I did not even have that date. Another one is I had just broken up with a guy who I was on and off with for years. He was an important relationship for me. He's a musician, kind of a bad boy, and I was trying to move on from him. And I met this guy through some friends that was like really clean cut, and like it seemed like it's a different direction. So we went on a date, and during the date, he gets a phone call. He had his phone on the table, and I saw that it was my ex-boyfriend's name calling him. And I thought, that's weird. So when he stepped away to take the call. When he came back, I had to ask him. I couldn't help but notice, "That's my ex-boyfriend's name on your phone. Do you know each other?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm his drug dealer." So that one was a bit of a double whammy because I did not know these things. So it was, that was a bummer. A bar that me and my friends would frequent, it was called the Handlebar, and it had a chalkboard in the bathroom. And this goes back to the on and off again musician guy. So his band would often play there, so that was like a place I would go pretty often. And he had an ex-girlfriend that would go there as well, and she liked to come to his shows and try to start drama. So she started leaving me like notes on this chalkboard in the bathroom. I was so sick of it. And I'm not into drama. I really didn't want to deal with that. So the only note that I left for her on the chalkboard was, "You can have him. Love, Kristen." And then I broke up. So it was just like, okay, we're just going to communicate through notes. Just have him back. I don't care. Another one, this was a rebound date. Really cute, really sweet person who I wish it could have worked out, but here's what happened. He came over to my house. I had a cute apartment at this time. I lived by myself, and we knew each other through family friends, so I felt perfectly safe with them, which was a nice change. And I cooked dinner, and part of the dinner was Brussels sprouts. And when I put them in front of him, he goes, "Is that lettuce? Is that like baby lettuce?" "No, those are Brussels sprouts." But I could kind of see how you would think that, even though it's weird that you don't know what Brussels sprouts are. And then a couple minutes later, I was making a drink with mint in it. And as I was like tearing up the mint to put in it, he goes, "Wait, is that lettuce?" And I just could not, like, I could not even get through that meal. Like, how do you not know what lettuce is? So we didn't work out romantically, but we did have a friendship already. So later, like that week, I remember sending him a picture of lettuce from the grocery store and being like, "Just so you know, this is lettuce. The other things are not." Okay, let me see what's next here. Oh, yellow teeth guy. Okay, so this guy, so arrogant, and I cannot stand that. And I didn't see that about him at first. And he's someone I went on dates with for like a month or two. It wasn't super serious, but he was like a pretty eligible bachelor in my town. I live in a small town. So he's in real estate, and he just seemed like he just had his life together. So it's like, yeah, I need to date someone who has their life together. That's a good idea. So I go out with him, and he starts bragging about his money, which is a huge turnoff. So I'm already like checked out very quickly into the meal. But then he starts nitpicking my appearance, which was like so rude. And I mean, this guy is shorter than me. Like, it wasn't, I don't know. He's not this golden god that could be looking down at everybody else. And even if he was, I still wouldn't tolerate that. But he started asking me if I whiten my teeth. And I said, no, I don't. And I thought he was going to compliment me. Like, I thought he was going to say, because you have a nice smile or something. And he goes, well, you should, because they're white in the front, but on the sides, they're looking pretty yellow. And I got up from that table, you guys. I went to the bathroom and I started crying. It just hurt my feelings so bad that someone I don't even know that well would just say that. So I looked in the mirror and I said to myself, this is kind of embarrassing, but this whole video is embarrassing, so I might as well go with it. I looked in the mirror and I said to myself, you don't deserve this. And I went back to the table and I put some money on the table. Like, I had to have my TV moment with this guy and said, I can't even finish this meal with you. That was so rude and you hurt my feelings. And what has become my line at this point of dating is, I just want to go home. I'm uncomfortable. So I left. He ran for office here later in my town, and I told everyone I know not to vote for him. So petty. But he was really rude. Another guy who I had a really good friendship with for years. Actually, I still do. Like, we're both married with kids, and yeah, we chat once in a while. He's super nice. But when he was younger and when I was younger, I was kind of a bee and he was kind of a jerk. Anyway, he took me out on a date, but I just wasn't feeling that kind of attachment to him. And he felt like I was just going for the bad guys, which he was not wrong. But he felt like I'm this nice guy and I can't have a chance because she only likes bad guys. So he decided to act like he's not a nice guy just to see if that would attract me. It was like kind of a weird, like, psychological experiment he did on me, right? So he started acting like a jerk, and then he sent me flowers, and they were like shitty flowers, like they were like half dead, and he left them on my doorstep. So I called him and I was like, did you give me flowers? And he's like, I knew it. I knew I could just, like, girls just don't care if you treat them bad, if you just give them flowers. It doesn't even matter if they're the worst flowers. So I sent him a picture of me throwing the flowers in the dumpster and smashing them to show that I don't need your fake flowers. It was just a weird thing, and we got past it and laugh about it now. But that, you know, things are so dramatic when you're young. But all that to say, he wasn't wrong. I did keep dating. Like, I felt like I kept dating guys that I knew would not work out, and I wasn't happy with it, but I didn't really know how to change it. So I did end up seeing a therapist about it, actually, and she really helped me. And she helped me a lot. She helped me over a period of a few years, and I live in a small town, so I was thinking like maybe I need to move, maybe I need a fresh start. I need to meet some new people. So I started making plans to move with one of my friends. And at that time, I met Scott, who became my husband. And it was just so many years of just dead ends, it felt like. And then I met him, and it was like, I don't know, it kind of feels, this is hard to describe, but it kind of feels like a sunrise. Like you have this hope, like, oh my gosh, I can actually see a future here. And it felt so good to me to meet him. And I have to tell you, when I met him, I was actually at a dinner party. And I only went to this party because I heard that the house it was in had a library, and I wanted to check it out. Like, what's a home library look like? I didn't realize when I got there that I was the only single person, and everyone else was coupled up. And it was so awkward because my friend at the time, who was not very nice, started at the dinner table telling stories about these dates, like these stories that I've shared. And it's funny when I say it, it's not funny when somebody else is making fun of you about it. And I felt so embarrassed. And Scott was there with the girl that he was dating at the time. And he was like getting mad, like saying, I don't think we need to talk about this. And he told me later that in his mind, he was thinking, what's wrong with these guys? This girl's great. They're just not treating her right. And I was sitting there thinking that his girlfriend wasn't treating him right because she was being really rude and interrupting him and never letting him talk. And I just got a vibe like she doesn't appreciate what she has. And this seems like a nice guy. Well, she ended up cheating on him. And after that happened, I got a call offering me a job in his company. And that was his way of like trying to get to know me, because he's a workaholic and he didn't want to, he knew he would be at work a lot. So he's like, if I want to get to know this girl, then I need to have her work with me. So the rest is history. We still work together. That was 10 years ago. Scott and I still work together, and we love working together, and it's a big bond between us. So I had no idea. I remember crying that night after that party, feeling so alone, like I'm just a joke. And then little did I know that man sitting across from me was thinking about me as anything but a joke. And same with me for him. So I'm just sharing this because it's funny and it's something I can look back and laugh on. But at the time, this was all very hard to go through one after another of bad dates, broken relationships, disappointments. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because I feel very lucky that I did meet someone, but I did have to do the work on myself to be able to maintain that healthy relationship. And I'm really glad I did. It's like an investment I made in myself that I will never regret. So if you have the chance to ever go to therapy, I highly recommend it. I actually went back to school and became a therapist after I did get together with Scott, like when we were getting married. So it affected me in a positive way, big time. So I just had to share because I want to encourage those of you who are in that difficult time of life where you're on your own, whether it's like in your 20s or if you're on your own after a divorce or something like that. It's hard, and it's hard to like be your own support and be your own applause, but all that work that you do on yourself will never go away. No one can ever take that away. It's something you have forever. So kind of like education is the same way. Even though I don't work in my field anymore, no one can ever take away what I learned in school. And it's the same with therapy. So that's just my little TED Talk on therapy. And I just had to share it because I know I probably sound like a crazy person with those dates. They were spread out over many years, and I had relationships too. But nothing really worked until I met Scott. And and even Scott and I took years to work out ourselves with each other because we broke up for a while and got back together, which people say that doesn't work, but it worked really well for us. We both took time to travel while we were apart, and when we came back together, it was like we both had a lot more clarity, and we knew what we wanted, and we had a really real talk that I'll never forget. And we've never like been apart since this moment, where we just told each other, you have to let me know the real you and I will accept it. And that's the promise we made to each other. And to me, that was like the most loving thing that someone can say. So here's this spread that I've been working on throughout the video. Thank you for watching and listening. And if you are dealing with bad dates in your life, I hope you can hang in there too. And we can at least distract ourselves with cute stickers, right?